Good evening, everyone, and welcome to OneShul. My name is Patrick Olive, and I'll be leading tonight's Kol Nidre service. Please do me a favor and let me know if I'm coming through okay, if everyone can see me and hear me and all of that good stuff. I can see myself, and as wonderful as I look, I would prefer to know how I look to you. So please let me know if I'm coming through okay. The service for tonight is downloadable from the link that I have posted in the chat room. I'll post it one more time here. And we are going to start on the bottom of page 26. But before we do that, I want to do a few things. First, I want to thank everyone who is here. We have a custom here at PunkTorah and OneShul called Jewish Standard Time. So Jewish Standard Time works just as much in sort of physical life as it does in online life. So we generally wait a few minutes after the official start time to actually get everything started. So what I want to do is to welcome everyone. Please log into the chat room. Please you'll see at the bottom of the chat room there is the link that says chat roll. There's a link that says Facebook. There's a link that says Twitter. You can log in and create a username in any of those ways. And I would highly encourage you to do so. It's just tremendous to be able to participate in the chat room, to ask questions, and to really get involved. So that's part number one to this. Part number two is to please let me know if I'm coming through okay. You know, sometimes we have technical problems. I can't see what you can see, so you have to describe to me how things are coming through. To tell you a little bit about OneShul, we're an online pluralistic community. We are driven entirely by the belief that you matter. By being here, you show your support for pluralistic Jewish life, and by pluralistic, I mean that we respect a few things. We respect the fact that people deserve to be where they are and to evolve Jewishly, and also that people should be able to question, to challenge, and to figure out Judaism on their own, but in the context of community and communal involvement. If you are here, you are a member. We don't have membership fees. We don't have any kind of special dues that you have to pay. We do ask that if you come to a high holiday service, so we have tonight's high holiday service, we also have services tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Eastern with Katsira, who is with us in the chat room tonight, to please give a $20 donation. $20 helps us a ton. If every person who participated in OneShul gave a small donation like that, we would be able to do tremendous things. We have 55,000 members in our community. If each person gave $20, we would have over 1 million members. So please donate. You can do so by clicking any of the links that are below. There's a donate button below. You can also go to the contact button above, and you can donate that way. I will also give our mailing address at the end of services where you can donate through snail mail. So we will go on ahead and officially begin our services. I want to take a moment to sort of quiet our minds a little bit, to kind of relax and to allow this process to happen. So what we're doing, Yom Kippurim, it's not a service in the sense that you are going to get something. So we think of the service industry. We go into a restaurant or a coffee shop and we are given something in return for what we give. We give $5, we get the coffee drink or whatever the case may be. When we think about a service in a spiritual community, it's too easy to see things transactionally. We think of all vows, kol nidre, this idea that I am going to go into a building and somehow God, by my presence, is going to forgive me for my sins simply because I am in front of my computer or because I have walked into a building or whatever the case may be. And that is a very transactional way of looking at Jewish life. That is the service industry side of Jewish service. I'd like to rethink this a little bit. Service means to give. And that's what we're going to do. We are going to perform a service together. We are going to give something. And we're going to give in a special way. We're going to give in the sense that we expect nothing in return. What we put out is what we are going to get back. And that is very, very different than the way our lives normally operate. Normally we give with this expectation of return. And even the Kol Nidre itself, all vows, the idea that we are forgiven in this moment, that sounds very transactional. But it's not. Because it's not about God forgiving us because we did something. It's about us doing something because God forgives. It's a different way of looking at things. We are not getting something in return for what we do. We are celebrating what we have gotten by giving. It's a different way of looking at things. One thing that I love to do, I love to see where everyone is from. And I'm going to just make a quick note that we have a lot of Georgia people here tonight. We're from Atlanta. That's where our offices are. We have several Georgia people here. Mandy, who just came in. Wonderful to see you, Mandy. Mandy's from Georgia. We have Arava. But I'd love to see where everyone is from. So please, as you are getting settled into the chat room, I'd love to see where everyone's from. We have Indiana, Savannah. I know we have Katsira in D.C. We have Quebec, Tucson, Somerville, Massachusetts, Nebraska, Philadelphia. My parents used to live in Philadelphia. Abington, Virginia, Tucson, Massachusetts, Leesburg, Baltimore. We've just started services tonight. Daytona Beach, Florida, Illinois, New Jersey, Seattle, Texas. What a beautiful moment we're having right now. That all of us are together from around the country, around the world together. And I want to go back to this idea of having a service, having our Ma'ariv service. What do we get for being here? No one promised us anything. We get presents. We get to give. We get to give service together. And how exciting is it that we get to do this with all of these people around the world? I cheated on OneShul a little bit today. I actually went to services before I came here. And I live in a neighborhood where synagogues are walking distance. So I walked to services at a different synagogue. I was there for about 20 minutes and then walked back. And I tell you, I'm more excited to be here. I'm far more excited to be here. I didn't have to pay tickets where I went. I don't have to pay tickets here. You know, maybe is it the fact that I'm in my own home? That's awfully nice, I suppose. But here's what thrills me about being here. And it's kind of crazy to talk about being thrilled on Yom Kippur, right? No one's thrilled about Yom Kippur. That's like the terrible holiday. But you know what? I'm feeling so blessed right now to be here with you. Because you're my community. You're the people that I go to when I have my Jewish troubles or my personal troubles. You're the community that I want to be with. And I'm honored by the opportunity that I have here to be with you. Because as we like to say here at OneShul, you matter. Your being here matters. It matters to the other 44 people who are celebrating this Hag with you, and it matters to God. It matters that you are here. Your presence needs to be consistent here at OneShul. It's very, very important that you're here. What we're having tonight, we can actually get the show on the road. I'm going to stop showboating. What we're having tonight is the Kol Nidre remix service. So remix coming from the musical world and Kol Nidre being a musical piece. If you have been with us at all in the past hour or so, you've heard the Techno Kol Nidre remix. You can download it off PunkTorah.org. I know some people have had problems downloading it. I can't solve that for you during Yom Kippur, but I can solve it afterwards. So I will fix that, and at least you'll have it for next year. But we have our friend Rebecca Wright, who is a community member here, who recorded 2 versions of Kol Nidre for us to use tonight. In addition to that, we're also going to be watching some really wonderful videos. We're going to start with a video that comes from Aish HaTorah, talking a little bit about what Yom Kippur is all about.
Has this ever happened to you? I've been dieting for a few months, trying to stave off a gut, trying to be healthy and stay in shape. So I'm eating all the right foods, hitting the gym, not eating too late at night, drinking water, yada yada, the whole 9 yards. Everything was going great until it happened. It came out of nowhere. It wasn't a holiday or family party. It wasn't a special event or an occasion. It was a regular weeknight. I was having a good day. I worked out, came home and had a healthy dinner. Later that night, I was on the couch reading a book, and I felt a little hungry. So I went to the kitchen just to look into the pantry. Can we do that? Open the fridge or pantry just to see what's inside? You're not going to take anything. You're just looking. Yeah, right. Well, that day my grandparents came to visit, and of course, how could Jewish parents come by to visit without bringing a truckload of junk food just in case the kids get hungry? So I opened the pantry, and staring at me is a box of chocolate chip cookies. Now I'm standing there alone, 10 o'clock at night, and it's me in the box. And I'm thinking, don't do it. You'll regret it. Come on, 1 cookie. I think it's low in saturated fat or something. I don't know what that is, but I'm sure it's a good thing. No, yes, no, only 1. You're starving to death. Fine, 1. 30 minutes later and the box was done. As soon as I finished eating the last cookie, the guilt started setting in. All that hard work for what? I can actually feel the fat forming around my waist. I woke up the next morning broken. All my hard work for what? A box of cookies? I sat down to breakfast and said, you know what, forget it, I'm out. I gained so much last night, I might as well just enjoy my breakfast today. And then, out of nowhere, I remembered a bit of advice I'd gotten from a rabbi a few years back. I was studying at yeshiva and trying to grow in my Judaism. I was learning more, doing well, and I had a bad night. I failed. I woke up the next morning, felt terrible, and figured, what the heck, I'll just sleep late. All that hard work was for nothing anyways. I came to yeshiva late, with my head down, and I was stopped by my rabbi. What's wrong? Nothing. Missed you this morning. Yeah, I'm not exactly the perfect Jew. He looked at me and said something so profound. He said, there's only one thing worse than messing up. It's holding on to it afterwards. Everyone fails, everyone. The best just get up and turn the page. They don't live in the past. They learn from it and move on. He said, welcome to being human. You fell. Get up, brush yourself off, and keep on going. There I was, sitting at my kitchen table realizing how profound that concept was. I failed. A box of cookies was bad, but not as bad as giving up on my whole diet. I had to regroup, turn the page to a new day, and not let that box drag me down permanently. And this applies to everything in life. We all have aspirations in life, whether it's academic, financial, health, or relationships. There are accomplishments we hope to achieve. But guess what? We're human, and so we fail. We trip, stumble, and fall. How many times do we drop the ball on something? Miss a deadline, bomb a meeting, fail a test, forget an important date, indulge in something that was wrong, do something selfish that hurt those around us. While we're doing it, we're so driven, but once it's done, we realize it's wrong. And that's when we choose to either allow our failures to drag us down further by giving up, justifying or rationalizing our actions, or just blaming somebody else. Or to stop, realize it was wrong, learn something productive, and then turn the page. King Solomon, one of the wisest men ever to walk the earth, said in Proverbs, Ki sheva yipol tzadik v'kam. a righteous person falls 7 times and gets up. He didn't say, if a righteous person falls, then he gets up. He said, a righteous person falls. Not once, many times, and gets up. You know why? Because everyone falls. Everyone. King Solomon's distinction isn't who makes mistakes, it's who gets up afterwards. Whatever happened, happened. We can't do it over, but we can choose to take responsibility, get up, brush it off, and turn the page.
Wonderful words from our friends at Torah. You know, it's really interesting, this idea of Yom Kippur, and that we take this time to reflect and to commit ourselves to tshuva, to returning to God, returning to godliness, returning to a place where we feel ourselves becoming better people, better to ourselves, better to others, and better to God. And something that always strikes me is a story that someone told me once. I had moved to a town where I didn't know anyone. And as a person who lives on the internet, I had a profile on a social media account. And I started talking to other people sort of who lived near me and who happened to also be members of the Jewish community. And we were coming up on Yom Kippur, and I was talking to this person about holidays and all of that sort of thing. And she said, well, I have a particularly unusual philosophy with Judaism. And I said, okay, try me. I'd love to hear what what's unusual about your Judaism. And she said, well, I only do the happy things. I only do the things that make me happy. I'd be curious to know what anyone thinks about that. This idea that in Judaism, living a Jewish life where we only do the Jewish things that make us happy. So I know what makes me happy. Rosh Hashanah makes me happy. Apples and honey make me very happy. Potato pancakes on Hanukkah make me more than happy, and donuts. If I could somehow make like a potato latke donut, if I could like combine the two together, so much the better. And I know I'm driving some people nuts because they're already starting to feel food pain, even though they've already eaten. It's all up here. But it's interesting, this idea of what if you just did the things that made you happy? Now, I've thought a lot about that conversation. She told me that she didn't fast on Yom Kippur. It's a custom that most Jews do. And most, I mean more than 50%. But she didn't. But she loved Sukkot. And she was talking about how she was really excited about Sukkot. She loved building the sukkah, and she loved sort of the fall foods that came along with it. And I have to agree, I love all of those things as well. But this story that this person told me about how she doesn't fast on Yom Kippur, she only does the things that she likes. Now, it makes sense, really, if you stop and think about it, because human life is about preventing pain, right? We try to avoid pain as much as possible. That's something that's built into the human experience. We would never seek out pain, and people who seek out pain, we would consider mentally ill in a certain way. So why would we seek out Yom Kippur? Why would we intentionally do, in a little way, harm to ourselves by not eating, not bathing, things of that nature? It's an interesting question, something I've thought a lot about. And this video, for me, really does it. You're going to need to turn up your speakers a little bit because it's a little bit quiet. But this lecture, it's actually not really a lecture, it's more of a story, really kind of explains it to me. So build up the story. This is a rabbi at a yeshiva telling the story of a young girl who is given a gift of a necklace. So it kind of starts off a little rough. It's hard to hear him. So I highly recommend turning up your speakers a little bit. But I want you to think about, while you watch this presentation, while you listen to this story, I want you to think about this idea of, what if we only did the things Jewishly that brought us happiness?
I'm going to do everything I can to be perfect. Please just let me have this necklace. So she said, okay, fine. Mother knew a deal when she saw one. She goes up to the counter with all her other stuff, and amongst the other things she buys the pearl necklace, and the girl is so excited. And she takes the necklace, and immediately after they check out, she goes straight into the bag, pulls it out. She can't even wait to get into the car. She puts it on. And for the next few days, this girl literally will not take off the necklace. Everywhere she goes, she is wearing this necklace. She doesn't go that far because she's living in her house, but wherever she goes, she's wearing this. She goes to sleep in the necklace. She showers in the necklace. She does everything in this necklace. She can't take it off. So one night, as she's getting into bed, her father comes in and knocks on the door. She's already lying down. And he comes in to say Shema with her, as he does every night, and he notices that she's wearing a necklace. And they say Shema. And he looks at his daughter and he says, Meidela, Meidela, little girl, do you love me? And the little girl looks at her and she says, of course I love you. Of course I love you. He says, can I have your necklace? So she says, Abba, you know how much I love my necklace. Please, anything but the necklace. You can have remember that stuffed animal that I used to love so much? You can have that. So the father says, no, that's okay. That's okay. You can, I love it. Gives her a kiss, walks out. Next night, the same thing happens. The father comes to the room with the little girl, knocks on the door, comes in, says Shema. Says, Meidela, Meidela, do you love me? She says, I told you last night, of course I love you. Of course I love you. Can I have your necklace? So the little girl says, you know that game you bought me for Hanukkah, like a year ago with all the buttons, you can have that instead. And the father says, no, that's really okay. I love you. Gives her a kiss. Says good night. By the third night, when the father came in, he walked into the room, and before he even got a chance to say Shema, the little girl bursts out in tears. And she says, Abba, I love you! And she rips off her necklace and she gives it to him. She couldn't take it anymore. The father takes the necklace, smiles, puts it in his pocket, and reaches out of his pocket a real pearl necklace and gives it to her. And says, Meidela, Meidela, I love you. We all have things that we like and what we're willing to give up, and we all have things that we're not willing to give up. Yom Kippur is a time when Hashem says to all of us, there's that one thing that you do that you really know you can do better. Or there's a few things maybe that you know you can do better. And even though you're saying, yeah, Hashem, I don't really want to do that, davening's not my thing, or saying brachos is not really so much my thing, but, I'll wear tzitzis. Hashem says, okay, that's good. I love you anyway. That's fine. But if we really love Hashem, and if we realize that Hashem really loves us, then we realize that all of those things that we're holding on to and we're saying, I don't really want to do that. That's not for me. That's not exactly my thing. If we realize that in reality what Hashem is asking is give up the silly pearl necklace for something so much more real, for something which is so much more meaningful, then Yom Kippur doesn't just become another Yom Tov where we're not allowed to do this and we're not allowed to do this and we have to do this and we're sitting in shul for so many hours. If we realize that we're refocusing ourselves to realize that all the fake pearl necklaces in each of our lives, and we all have our own Rebben and Talmidim alike, we all have our own things that we cling on to which are not exactly real and which are not exactly helping us to grow. When we realize that Yom Kippur is a day to internalize and to realize that those fake things that we hold on to are really not as precious as the real things that Hashem is offering us, so then Yom Kippur becomes a day of, like the Gemara says, Yom Kippur is one of the two most joyous days of the year. It's It's not exactly the way we remember it and we think of it because we're not thinking in these terms. But if we think in these terms, there's no doubt that all of us will be zoche to a din which is a din tzedek, a din which we're judged for righteousness. And in addition to that, we'll enjoy it. We'll see Yom Kippur as a time of growth and a time for us to be uplifted. Shall be zoche to be written in the book of life and stamped in the book of life, so that we can all enjoy B'ezrat Hashem, the Avir, the Eretz Yisrael, and our sukkahs when it comes time for sukkahs. Right around the corner, it's the time that everybody enjoys sukkahs. Yom Kippur is the portal to sukkahs. We walk through Yom Kippur to cleanse ourselves and to appreciate what the true meaning in life is, what the true things in life are, so that we can come through sukkahs, Zman Simchaseinu. Everyone should have a wonderful day. Ashrei Yeshua.
So, as the rabbi stated, what we need is Yom Kippur. We need Yom Kippur, and it's an interesting play on words. Yom Kippur is not Yom Kippur. We're going to do a little test here. I want you to think about this for a moment. Yom Kippur is actually Yom HaKippurim. Yom HaKippurim. Is there another word that comes up? Yom HaKippurim. Are you hearing possibly something else Jewishly in there? Maybe a holiday? Yom HaKippurim. Do you hear a little nugget of something in there? In Yom HaKippurim? Purim. Bingo. So what is Yom Kippur? It's Purim. It's Purim, but it's over here. Okay? So I sort of think of it this way, that like Purim and Yom Kippur, it's like two sides of a coin, right? Heads and tails. Either way, it's one thing. We think of Yom Kippur as being this incredibly holy day. By the way, though, Shabbat is actually the holiest day of the Jewish calendar. But if we think of Yom Kippur as being this holy day because we're beating our chests and we're repenting and we're thinking of all of these things, well, what's the opposite of that to a certain degree? It's Purim. Because Purim is a day where we celebrate. People get drunk and people eat hamantashen and all of this other stuff, right? Okay? But it's actually the same thing. It's returning to life. And it's returning to the things that are important, just as on Yom Kippur, we return to being a good person. On Purim, we return to the human experience of just being alive and enjoying life. The idea of simcha, of joy. And in that way, we can see Purim, this holiday that's sort of, the dancey, costume, Mardi Gras type of thing, as really being a tshuva. It's a tshuva because we are returning to what life is supposed to be, which is something that is joyous and wonderful and among those that we love. And Yom Kippur could be a return. It can be a return to being the kind of person that we know we can be. And when the two work together, you have a full life. You have a fulfilled life with everything that you need. Purim and Yom HaKippurim. We're going to begin our service by listening to the Kol Nidre. And what we're going to do, the screen is going to black out. And there's a reason why I want it to sort of black out a little bit. I want us to try to use this time meditatively. I want to use this time where we listen to the Kol Nidre and put ourselves in a place like the Barhu. So the Barhu is the opening prayer. It's the call to prayer in Judaism, but let's use Kol Nidre as that tonight. And let's allow the spirit of Kol Nidre to bring us to a place where we can open ourselves up fully and really experience davening in this way with 47 of our best friends here tonight at OneShul.
Kol nidre ve'esoreh v'karomeh v'konomeh v'kinuyeh v'kinuseh Yeshuos. Dim darno udehishtabano udechareimno v'diasarno al nafsho sono Yom Kippurim ad Yom Kippurim Abba Oleinu Oleinu Tova Kulon Icharot Novon Kulon Yehon Sharon Shavikin Shavisin V'tevin v'votolin Lon shiririn v'lo kayomin Nediruno lo nidre Vesoruno lo esore Ushvio sono l'shuvos.
Powerful moment from our friend Rebecca Wright. Let's take a moment to sort of settle into what we just experienced and take a few breaths. We're going to start our Mariv service, bottom of page 26 in the Machzor. We'll begin before the Shema with a call to prayer. Baruch Hu Atz Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam Vaed. We connect our personal thoughts we have while listening to Kol Nidre to a group prayer, the Shema. The Shema is the central, you might call it, creed of Judaism. And it's an amazing thing because it's one short sentence. It's only 5 words. But so much is said in that small piece. So I think of it like a painting. So you look at a painting, And this is a fun experiment sometime. I highly recommend doing this. I learned this when I was in art class. You have a painting or a photograph and hangs on your wall, and you sort of know what it is and sort of abstract sense. Oh, it's a painting of a sunset, or it's a photograph of my child, or whatever the case is. But here's what's really fun. Sometime when you have a chance, stand in front of this picture that you have hanging on your wall or on your desk. Close your eyes and hold it or have it in front of you and set a kavanah, set an intention that when you open your eyes, the first thing that you see, you're going to remember. And that as best as you can, you're going to follow with your eyes everything that you naturally gaze on. And you're going to remember sort of the order that you see things. So I think of, let's say, a painting that I have on my wall right now. And I close my eyes and I open up, and all of a sudden I see it's actually a poster. It's a concert poster, and there's a pair of glasses that this character in this concert poster is wearing. The glasses are the first thing I see, and then all of a sudden I see the forehead of the character, and then I see the black hair, and then all of a sudden I'm able to read all of the different parts of the poster. Now, what's interesting is if I do that several times, if I keep closing my eyes and I keep looking at the picture over and over again, I get better at seeing where my eyes move to. But at no time do I ever see the whole thing. I only see parts of it, and then my eyes gradually travel to different parts. I'm never able to look at a painting or a photograph and see everything all at once. And I would challenge you to try this sometime. You will never see everything at once. You will only see pieces. Part of the reason why that is there's a concept in art called negative space or empty space. Emptiness grounds the picture. So you think of a famous painting like the Mona Lisa. No one really knows what the background of the Mona Lisa is, right? We just know the Mona Lisa and the smile on the eyes, but we don't really know what's going on in the background. We only see what our eyes focus on. But we couldn't see the Mona Lisa if it weren't for the empty background. And that's the way the Shema works. It's an empty statement. All it says is, "Hear Israel, the Lord our God is one." That's not really saying much. But that's because it's the empty space. It's the negative space where you can close your eyes, or you can close your ears if you'd like, and understand that you can't see it all. We can't see the universe and everything in ourselves all at once. It's too much. We only see little things that our eyes and ears and other senses allow us to see, and that's what the Shema is. It's nothing and everything at the same time. It's the little words that our eyes travel to, traveling, let's say, this way if you're reading it in English, and this way if you're in Hebrew. But we see the little pieces, and it's a way to see everything at the same time. It's just like a piece of art. And that's what the Torah is. It's a beautiful piece of art. It's history, it's philosophy, it's religion, it's culture, it's holidays, it's personal relationships, it's everything in one thing. But we can only see little pieces of it at a time. It's too much all at once. So I invite you to say the words of the Shema with me. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. We read together in English this poem that was written by a community member based on the V'ahavta. You will love God, your God, with all of your heart, might, and soul. Write these words on your arm as they are written on your heart. You will be reminded by these words, which will rest on your eyes and over all you see. These words will be on your door and the gate of your home. Students of Torah will not fear, because God will give them all that they need, rain when it is dry and sun when it is cold. And as seedlings grow in spring, your heart will also be fertile, bearing new life. Your bellies will be full. You will learn the rhythms of coexistence with others. Disobedience and disregard of God's goodness will remove these things from your world, and you from it also. Teach and learn the commandments. Let us all learn holiness from the holy examples we are given. When I forget the commandments, return them to my memory. Don't allow me to be distracted by what matters most, for you are God. Amen. Have an Amida here. This is an Amida that was written by community member. All of our liturgy is written by community members. We rewrite our liturgy every single year. And it's a really fun, exciting thing. It's what I imagine the psalmists were doing, so many, many, many years ago, that we are connected to a thousands-year-old tradition of crying out to God. And that's what we are doing here tonight. We are crying out to God. We are using our words. We are using our hearts. We're using our ears and our eyes and our fingers. All parts of us are calling out to God. And this is one way in which our community calls out to God, is through our continuously evolving liturgy. It's not written by one person. It's written by everyone. And what does that mean? It's something that I said before services began. By being here, you are a member. You have the right to lead. You have the right to write a liturgy. You have the right to teach. You have the right to be the rabbi. There is no one person in charge. There is no movement telling us what to do. We are only moving to the rhythms that God lets us march or dance or shuffle or break dance or slam to, whatever kind of dancing you're into, tango. That's what it's about. It goes back to what I said before, which is that you matter. So let's connect together with the Amida. And we are on page 27. You have my thanks, God, the God of Israel, and the God of our ancestors, God of Abraham, God of Sarah, God of Yitzhak, God of Rivka, God of Yaakov, God of Leah, God of Rachel, Lord of the universe, who established what is good and asks that we follow your example and live in love beyond titles, male, female, you are our protection. You are blessed, shield of our fathers and our mothers, shield to us all. Lord of the universe, teach us our minds and our hearts. After teaching us, forgive us. After forgiving us, be patient with our weakness. Patient one, make our lives worthy. After making us worthy, heal our bodies. And after we are healed, bless us. After we are blessed, bring us together. After we are together, judge us with mercy. After judging us, defeat our evil and defeat the evil of our world. And after defeating evil, help us to create what is good. And now that we are holy, make the earth holy. Accept our prayers, continue to improve what we are. Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh. Baruch atah Adonai osei shalom. Baruch atah Adonai shomei atefila. You are blessed, our holy God, God who creates and maintains peace, who acknowledges us when we cry out. Before we get into the Aleinu, we have a few more videos here. As I mentioned earlier, Yom Kippur is a little bit of a play on words because it's Yom HaKippurim and Purim is stuck right in there. Now there's other kinds of sort of Hebrew idioms, and this is why it's very important to take on the study of Hebrew. I know that it's tough. Believe me, it's tough. I meet with a tutor 5 hours a week because I have problems reading and I have problems studying Hebrew. So I'm with you. I feel your pain, to borrow a euphemism from a former president. But it's so important because this is where you get these little nuggets of wisdom. They're hidden in the Torah. There's actually a belief, if you study the Pardes method of Hebrew study, you find these little nuggets, these little sort of hidden gems of wisdom there. And the Torah is filled with all of these little, they're almost jokes. They're like little hidden jokes that the scribes like Ezra wrote in the passages of the Torah. So there's an interesting idiom that comes from Breshit, from the story of our creation. In Hebrew, all words are either masculine or feminine. This is a sort of a grammar thing. This is not a sexism thing. I know people like to sort of move it in that direction, but that's not what it is. It's just a language thing. German is the same way. There's lots of other languages where there's genders connected to words. So what's exciting is that the word for human, the word for person, Adam. Okay? Now, what did Adam come from? So I'd like to see if anyone posts this in the chat room. What is the Hebrew word for what Adam came from? Test everybody. See how smart you are. Get to win a prize. You don't win a prize at all, actually. But you get, I guess, gloating rights, huh? So Bex nailed it. It's Adamah. Adom comes from Adamah, and everyone else is getting it too. There's like 47 people now who are all posting Adamah. So it's a deliberate idiom. Adam comes from Adamah. Now, here's what's exciting about that. Adam is a masculine word. Adamah is a feminine word. The masculine, human, comes from the feminine, earth. Now, what do we know about at the end of this Torah portion? And what happens to all human beings? Dust we return. We are buried in the earth. And this is a beautiful teaching that we come from earth, which is feminine like the mother. That the earth is the womb of creation. And from that comes Adam, comes humanity. And what do we do when a person dies? We open the womb back up again and put the child back into the feminine. And that is a beautiful, beautiful statement about humanity. That from Adamah, from the sacred feminine, comes humanity. And when humanity perishes, which all humans do, we do the most noble thing. It's considered one of the highest mitzvot you can do, one of the highest blessings that you can do for a person, is to bury them, to bring them back to mother. It's a beautiful, exciting thing. And as I was thinking about this, I found an exciting video from one of my favorite rabbis, Reb Zalman Schachter Shlomi, who has a very interesting teaching about this that connects to this idea. So this is Reb Zalman, the founder of Jewish Renewal, talking about this idea of the feminine in terms of Yom Kippur.
Yom Kippur is
I showed you the wrong video. I am sorry. Hold on a sec. Let me grab it. Wouldn't you know, we're having this wonderful sacred moment and I accidentally give you the wrong thing. But that's such a beautiful thing too. Hold on just a sec for me. I'm sorry about that. Pull it up here. Goodness gracious, wouldn't you know?
Now I want to go a little bit stronger. Gotta go a little bit of detour, but follow me. The teachings are that on Rosh Hashanah, a new year comes down. And on Yom Kippur, the old year gets replaced. And just as you have in the legend of the phoenix that at the 1,000-year point builds a fire, and emulates himself in it and arises again from the ashes, you have that sense. Something akin to that is a Yom Kippur moment. Because the whole year we live off, and I wish that Rabbi Yitzchak Luria would have thought of it in these terms. A whole year we live in the placenta of that year. Before menstruation comes, the possibility of a placenta is there. Okay? And that is the budget for life, according to the way in which Chassidus and Kabbalah talk about it. It comes down for the year in this potential. And every month and every week and every day and every hour it gets drawn into, it's as if that great budget then gets divided into a monthly budget and into a weekly budget, and it comes down that way. But it is available. One of the ways in which I like to talk about the Shabbat before Rosh Chodesh, where you bench Rosh Chodesh. Does it mean that the new moon begins on Shabbat? No. Then why do you mention it on Shabbat? And the best way to say it again is to use a thing from feminine life to say, because the milk came down for the month. Do you understand that? It's like the baby wakes up and you're on the way home and you say the baby just woke up. And how do I know? Because the milk let down. It's that kind of a phenomenon. So we talk Shchina, 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 but we don't really give credit to the femininity of Shchina and all that fullness to understand those processes there. So there is a budget that comes down to us. Now, one of the things that the Kabbalah says that on Rosh Hashanah we must begin, he calls it Binyan HaMalchut. Binyan HaMalchut. And I like to translate it as to set up the God field, to install the God field. Because the old God field from last year has gotten injured, the filter got clogged. I mean, all these things that you would say, our life was not that without flaw and without fault, and all these things need to be filtered out. And now a new interface has to be brought down, and the day after Yom Kippur comes the Yud, and the second day comes the Hey, and the third day comes the Vav, and then comes the other Hey. And by Sukkot, the new interface is already installed. In a sense, Rishon L'Cheshbon Avonot. All this is so embedded in the calendar, okay? Now I want to go a little bit stronger. Gotta go a little bit of detour, but follow me. The teachings are...
Everything I can to be perfect.
So Reb Zalman is really great at making these kinds of points of connecting potential to Yom Kippur and to Rosh Hashanah, to our high holidays, where we have this anticipation that something is happening and that things are never going to be the same. So I invite you to think about that, bottom of page 28 here. Savior of Saviors, we anticipate a perfect world made whole through your truths and our efforts. Then all people will embrace your unity, saying, Adonai is God. V'ne'emar l'haya Adonai, l'melech hakol haaretz, vayom hahu hiya Adonai echad, ushmo echad. We end by taking a moment to have a yizkor. If anyone is mourning, anyone who has passed in this year, or we'll open it up in general to any mourners, please give the name of whomever you are mourning. I will add Neil Millman and Lily Frisch to the list, our Yizkor list. Does anyone have a name of someone who has passed that we would like to commemorate, that we would like to have special thoughts about? So we have Barry. Anyone else would like to add a name? Martha. Cora, Mel, Sandy, and Tracy's beautiful words here. Anyone who doesn't have anyone to do it for them. Very beautiful thought. Aaron Bradley. Anyone else that we would like to add? Carol, Mike. May their memories be a blessing. Yit Kedal v'yit Kedash me Rabbah, v'alma divrach hirote v'yamlik malchute b'chayachon u'yomechon uv'chaye dekol bet Yisrael, b'agala u'izman kariv v'imru amen, yehesh me Rabbah mevorak le'olam u'me'almaya, yit barak v'yishtabak v'yit parar v'yit romam v'yit naseh, v'yit tadar v'yit talev v'yit talash me dekudasha brechu, Le'ila min kol berakata v'shirata tushbachata v'nechamata da'miram be'alma v'imru amen yehesh me shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'imru amen osei shalom b'ramav hu yaseh shalom aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May their memories be a blessing, as they obviously are, because we are saying the words that they are thinking right now, blessings and songs beyond all words. That's what heaven is like. That is what Olam Haba is like. Blessings beyond words, and yet we are here tonight saying blessings. So I would like to thank everyone for coming to services tonight. We have services tomorrow evening, 6 p.m. Eastern Time with Ketzira. You can ask Ketzira all kinds of questions. She's here in the chat room tonight. I will stick around for about 15 minutes here. I won't be broadcasting, but I will be in the chat room if you'd like to chat about anything. And you can stay as long as you would like. There are no ushers kicking you out and telling you that you need to wrap it up and that you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. You can stay here as long as you would like. Matter of fact, I would love it if I woke up in the morning and saw my computer still on and saw people chatting the night away. I would like to mention that in addition to services that we have tomorrow at 6 p.m., we have lots of opportunities coming up to teach, to lead services, to write, to get involved. There are a lot of opportunities here. And here's everything that you're going to tell me. I'm not Jewish enough, I'm not educated enough, I'm not religious enough. Let me tell you something. There is no such thing as not Jewish enough. There's no such thing as not Jewishly educated enough, and there is no such thing as smart enough or good enough or a good enough leader. You are here. That means that you are a member, and it means you are a leader. We have 42 people right now. Actually, it's more like 45 people here tonight. I expect after Yom Kippur to have 45 messages in my email inbox. I'm going to give you that. It's patrick@punktorah.org. I expect every single one of you to write me and say, here's how I would like to get involved. Here is my time. Tell me what you would like me to do. Here is an area of Judaism that interests me that I'd like to cultivate more. How can you help me? I promise you, there is a place here for you. The reason why I know that is that you are here. By being here, there is a place here for you. We don't care how you practice. We don't care how you identify. You are Jewish and you are here. And God said it, and I believe it, and that settles it. So, 42, 45-ish something people, I expect to hear back from all of you. Also, we ask for High Holidays a $20 contribution for coming. I know that that's a lot for some people, and it's not much for others. So if you can give more, please give more. Please give more. It costs about $500 to $600 a month to run OneShul. This is the time that it costs for all of the work on the website we have to do. It's the cost of streaming, it's the cost of the chat room, it's the cost of all the social media gadgets and widgets that I still don't understand, but we have them and we use them and they work great. It's for my time to teach people how to use the software. It's for all of the time that I spend on the phone with Katsira while she tells me what we're supposed to be doing, because Katsira is the brains of the operation. I'm just a guy with a computer. And I'm glad that it's that way. And I really do encourage you, if you have never been to one of Katsira's services, you need to come tomorrow, because it's going to be mind-blowing. Please come 6 o'clock tomorrow. Please donate. Please give. We're asking a minimum $20 donation. That is less than the cost of any High Holidays tickets anywhere. It is so incredibly valuable to have your help to keep us going. I have one quick thing I'm going to tell you before we go. There are 55,000 people who come to our community and get involved. They either watch a video, they come to a class, they come to a service, they read a blog post. Our budget is $55,000. That's special. That's, as my mother would call it, a God wink. Okay? Why? Because that means that for $1, a Jewish person has Jewish life for a year, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That is spectacular. So if you give $20, it means 20 Jews will have Jewish life. You personally will be responsible for making that happen. And I want you to give yourself the gift of 20 more members in your Jewish community, OneShul.org. Give yourself the opportunity to make 20 new friends. What a blessing that would be. To talk about God, to talk about spirituality here with people that you can love. And all it's going to cost you is 4 Frappuccinos. Not bad. I would trade 4 Frappuccinos for 20 dear friends who love talking about Judaism any day. No questions asked. So please give. How can you do that? You can give online, safely and securely, I promise, by donating via WePay or PayPal, depending on what you prefer. So there's the link to that. You can also give if you If you go on that link, there's also an address where you can mail a check. So either way. And again, you can always get in touch with me, Patrick at PunkTorah.org, and I look forward to hearing from you. Again, 45-ish people. I can't wait to answer all 45 emails that I'm going to get. And am I going to pressure you to get involved? Absolutely, I'm going to. Am I going to pressure you to lead Shabbat services, to teach a class, to write, to do graphic design, to sing, whatever it is that you know you're good at but don't believe that you are? Yes, I am. Because I want to have a relationship with you, and I want to have a relationship with God and with OneShul with you. So, thank you again for coming. I will see you. Well, I personally, unfortunately, won't be there, but we will all be here. All 45 of your new friends, community members here at OneShul will be here 6 o'clock Eastern tomorrow with Ketzira, and I really look forward to seeing that. Take care. May you have a meaningful Yom Kippur. And as my friend Matthew Roth once said to me, may your fast only be as terrible as the things that you did in the previous year. Take care.